watching Gamesthetic episode 223. I'm Alex with Sparky3. Hopefully you're having a wonderful day today. Whatever day you're listening or watching this show. Got both the boys here in the studio. Zach, buddy, how you doing?
Is it 223?
It is 223.
We sure?
I'm positive.
Okay.
I checked it today.
All right.
Yeah, how are you?
I'm all right.
Yeah, cool. John, what about you?
That's too many episodes.
That is a lot.
That
is a lot.
I've never listened to you when you've talked about, like, when you go through the beginning on how many episodes or what the episode number is. That time I paid attention, I was like, that's too many.
That's too many.
But think about it this way, John. You didn't join until like 60 or something like that.
Yeah, that means I've still been on here for a long time.
Yeah, it's been a great time.
Don't worry, I only got to join during
Okay,
like the
guys, come
second
on.
reboot.
The second reboot. Facts. This show's been through a couple of them. Oh, geez. That is a lot of episodes, though. And we're just going to keep on rolling, having the best possible time we can have. What are my dogs doing over there?
I don't know.
They got
Lord.
excited all
They,
of a sudden.
Lord.
they,
have
they heard
mercy.
John talking and they decided it was time to go bug him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no.
they got excited.
I can tell. What did he just slip?
Yes, he did.
All right, I'm trying to move John's camera in the process. All right, right on. Now, so for today's episode, got a few things we'll touch on. Of course, the Xbox stuff. That is the biggest talking point of the week. Can Xbox ever be trusted again? That's up for debate. A lot of things happened this week. I'm gonna have to get these dogs out of here. Bandai Namco Summer Showcase had a lot of stuff shown there.
That was a
things
thing,
announced.
wasn't it?
Yeah, a couple
I
things
forgot about
announced. Digimon Storytime Stranger, kind of the biggest thing for John and I, so shout out to that. So we'll touch on that as well as a few other things.
Not Pac-Man?
You missed the extended look of My Hero stuff that they kept talking about.
Yeah, no, did not see the extended look on
Well,
All's
no, I
Justice.
mean, they just kept talking about it for so long.
Like a new My Hero game or
Yes,
just...
yeah,
oh, okay.
it's called All's Justice, so the next in that Justice fighting game series they've got. Yeah, this one will actually complete the My Hero story, though. So,
Yeah, and it looks to be more of an arena fighter rather than a traditional fighter.
Aren't the other ones arena
yeah, I
fighters?
think the others are arena, right? I can't remember.
I thought
Were the others 3v3s or what? I don't know.
Justice...
I have no clue.
I didn't think it was like an actual like open arena fighter. I thought it was more of a traditional fighter.
No, it's an open arena fighter. Because I got the first one in it. I don't
You
remember.
did, didn't you?
I don't remember if it was team based. I want to say it was.
I think it was
team-based.
3v3s.
I wanna
Because
say
that's
it was-
Bandai's trademark for anime games, is these 3v3 fighters.
And more or less, you had a big square arena you fought in. Because you could hit invisible walls.
I never paid that much attention to it. I was like,
you did the right move.
I'll
by
be
not paying
honest. I don't
attention.
even know why I bought the first one.
I might have been thinking of the One Punch Man fighting.
Probably.
Yeah, the hero nobody knows. They got nominated for best fighting game
I
of the
think
year.
that's the one I got it mixed up. They honestly they all look the same.
Because they are like Bandai has a set copy paste formula that they just slap a different anime skin on it, like
Pretty much.
legit to the T. Like that's exactly what it is. But yeah, new My Hero game. Shadow Labyrinth did show off a boss fight. Did pre-order like the collector's edition, like the special edition that they've got.
Does it have a big shadowy Pac-Man?
Not the one that I got, because the one I got was just, I mean, like, dude, it was just like $60. Because I mean, the game's only like 40.
So if it's not shadowy Pac-Man, why'd you get it?
Because it's like $60 and it looked cool. It had a big box. It looked all nice.
But it doesn't have a shadowy Pac-Man.
Well, I didn't want to do the big boy edition. I did the middle boy edition, I guess. I don't know. But
The only reason I would buy a collector's edition is for the shadow Pac-Man.
well, that's not what I got. At least.
Yeah, he doesn't buy them for that. He just hopes that they come with a game case that he can put on a shelf that he's not going to do anything with.
Facts. Big facts.
If they had an ultimate edition that was just that, he would still buy it.
Facts. Because that's just the kind of person I am. But anyway, yeah, no, we'll touch on that. Probably talk some more Persona 5. I finished the altars, so I'll touch on that as well, probably here at the beginning. And then just a few other things. If you want to support us for the Patreon, go ahead to do so, as well as to subscribe to the channel, be a friend, tell a friend. And we'll make sure to shout out some Rogue Origin Agent Inc. later on in the show. Join the Discord, be a friend, tell a friend. Let's see. Phantom says, maybe sometime in the future, Xbox can be trusted again, but Microsoft, no, never again. I don't think, especially if they are just going to lay people off to fund AI, but I don't know, to be honest. That is true. That's apparently why the layoffs happened, is to transition all those saved funds over to AI. Yeah. So The Xbox thing is wild. We'll jump into that here in just a sec. First, you guys have anything you guys want to shout out? I got one thing I'll shout out. What about you guys? You got anything?
You know what game I wasn't expecting to pop off as much as it has?
What's that?
The damn horse racing anime girl one.
What are you?
I have heard a lot about this game. Actually,
Okay, what's going on? What is
So there is a
wait. When we say horse racing anime, like anime horse girls,
this? Okay.
what are you picturing?
My first thought is just like you're riding horses and it's anime girls. Is that right?
Nope.
You were incorrect.
You are incorrect.
Okay, all right. Well, what hole are we diving down here?
So this is what I never expected was going to get popular because like it's been a series before, an animated series as well as other merchandise and paraphernalia over in Japan. It's like called Ume Musume. I could be saying that wrong because I honestly didn't keep up with it a whole lot. But literally, it is a school-themed anime school for training horse girls, and that is girls who also happen to be horses, but they're more girl than horse.
They have like a horse tail and like
Horse ears. And they're all named after like actual horses or racing horse names. And literally, it's a mobile game that came out recently within like at the beginning of this month, I want to say, beginning of June, not July. And it's literally you just train your horse girls you acquire for your stable or your school, however you want to
Isn't
say
it a gotcha game too?
it. Is a gotcha game.
Of course it is.
Um,
Of course it is.
And literally you just train them and then you have them do horse races, which is like a traditional horse race in real life, just it's anime girls running around on the track.
It is literally just a bunch of anime girls with horse tails running along a horse track.
Like a track meet.
It's the weirdest looking thing.
And this anime gotcha horse girl game has popped off.
Has it? Okay.
In the gotcha the gotcha community, yes, because
Has not appeared in my timeline.
you're not as big of a gotcha person as I am.
no,
So
it has not been in my Twitter timeline yet.
it's been a very entertaining thing because of a bunch of all the gotcha people who are playing this one, but aren't gotcha players, just being like, I can't let anyone know I actually play this. I mean, I'm streaming it, but I can't let anyone in my actual life know I'm playing this.
I heard about this because I was watching a podcast where they were talking about video games and stuff, and one of the people goes, "Okay, can I talk about horse girls for a few minutes?" I was like, wait a second.
Hold on, pump the brakes. Oh, Jesus Christ.
It is apparently, I have not dove into it because I wasn't much of a fan of that series just in general.
Yeah.
But yeah, but apparently it's got that niche training simulator personality interacting with these horse girls that just really captivates people.
I'm sure.
Because it did actually come to Steam this week and immediately had overwhelmingly positive reviews, which it's still standing at.
I'm sure it does. Shout out. What a pop off. Game of the year, brother.
It's definitely possibly going to take mobile game of the year.
No shit.
I mean, as it stands, as far as I'm aware in gotcha terms, whether the other mobile games can, that's not on my wheelhouse.
Okay.
Yeah. So what would it be competing against right now? The Persona game?
Currently, yeah.
Yeah, well.
There's a couple others that are slated to come out this year. That I know that are gotcha games. Again, outside of gotcha games, I don't keep up with mobile.
That's like the big mobile games these days anyway.
Yeah.
Because I mean, they're not going to be competing against Balatro this year, so.
Right. True. That was nominated for Game of the Year. Big shout out to that. What about you? You got anything you want to shout out? Scream from the rooftops.
Not necessarily. I've started a bunch of games this past week.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just all of a sudden, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna start playing like 5 different games.
Question.
All at the same time.
These games are already in your library, or did you spend summer sale money?
Yes.
Okay. How much?
Not the most money I spent actually was to buy a Switch version of a game so I could play it on Switch.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Nice.
Because I started Final Fantasy X on Switch.
I'm assuming that's the HD remix one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
I had to think of which version was on Switch.
Yeah, it's the Final Fantasy 10 to HD remastered version of it.
Yeah.
Nice.
So started playing that. Started playing Remnant. I did end up buying Guardians of the Galaxy. Haven't started it yet, but it's on my list to play.
Hell yeah.
So John, is this your first time playing 10?
Yes.
All right.
Well, I've started it before on Steam and gotten to about where I'm at right now.
Cool. I've assumed you've seen it, but you get to live out the scenes that has the terrible and questionable voice acting at times.
The laugh.
There's
That plus multiple other segments.
The laugh is legendary.
It has been the most standout thing so far is the questionable voice acting.
I know of that game just through memes.
A lot of people do.
Yeah, that's my knowledge of X is just memes.
Although I started playing it, or like I think it was Friday. I got up in the morning. I was like, all right, I'm gonna go play some Final Fantasy. Turned it on, started playing it, and then I went out of nowhere. I haven't played it in months. I was like, it's time to start playing RuneScape again.
Back in the RuneScape grind. Here we go.
I started playing Final Fantasy and ended up playing RuneScape.
Where have you even made it to the island with Waka, Lulu, and Yuna?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm there. I'm not done playing it. The RuneScape came back.
That RuneScape.
The RuneScape struck again. Happens to the best of us. Jeez. All right, so I actually got two things. So one is, me and my wife recently found this. We got our hands on the Monster Hunter Wilds controller, which was not released over here. So shout out to that.
Shout out to the fact that we're showing off a controller and it's not me this time.
I know, dude. Plot twist. Box and everything, super nice. Here's also the plot twist. Whoever did have it, first off, shout out to them because they obviously had to go through some hurdles to get it over here, right? Because it didn't come out for us. But then on top of that, they never opened it. This thing was still sealed.
Damn.
So they really just sold it probably because they just needed the money, and it's just super unfortunate. But then, of course, Christina, like when she noticed it was still sealed, she's like, I'm going to destroy this and I'm going to open it. I'm like, go for it. It's your controller. If you want to open it. So
I will say one thing with some of these limited editions that don't come out in the US.
Yeah.
Usually like 4 to 5 months after they come out, like you can see them in stock on like certain like stores' websites.
Mm-hmm.
You'll just be paying the inflated price for it.
Correct, yeah.
But getting some of them after the fact isn't too hard sometimes, unless they were like real limited edition versions of
Final
it.
Fantasy one.
No, that one wasn't terrible.
Oh, was it not? Okay.
No, that one I actually found.
Or am I thinking the Hogwarts one?
Hogwarts one is, that one is.
Did that one come out for us?
Yeah, it just sold out.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just really a pain.
It's
just a pain to get.
It was Final Fantasy that didn't.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I gotcha.
I just remember most of them had really nice designs on them.
The Hogwarts one had a really sick design, and so did Final Fantasy though. Yeah.
Yeah, the Hogwarts one though, that one you got to pay a premium for that.
Yeah. Good luck to that one, basically. The other thing to shout out is because, as you guys know, and as potential listeners know, I love shouting out comments. It's my favorite thing to do, good or bad. I just want to shout this one out because I just really appreciated this entire conversation. It was actually from our recent clip on Marathon getting delayed, and someone commented.
Wasn't that like 3 weeks ago?
At least two. Where someone commented about the art being stolen thing and how they just thought it was like fake media scrum, whatever, and just a whole lot of crap and no one cares about it.
Yeah.
Which I disagree with. I very much disagree with that statement. And we went back and forth for like, I don't know, 5 or 6 comments, but it was a very nice disagreement. I wanted to shout out because going through that whole thing, that is disagreements done right. We were both just having conversations and going back and forth on points. No insults being thrown, nothing like, oh, you're stupid. So, hey, shout out to that guy. That was disagreements done right. Appreciate that guy. That was a good conversation going back and forth. Just
don't
talking
even remember their name?
No, don't. I hardly ever, get these people's names, man. I feel bad, but I'm just speaking facts, bro. I have no clue. Let's see if I can grab it real quick. I have responded to it. So Big Box 1431. That's his name. Shout out to you, man. Shout out to you, dude. Appreciate the conversation. That, like I said, this disagreement's done right. Appreciate that.
What the hell are you looking at over there that you have Anthem pulled up?
Oh, it's just scrolling.
What?
No, it's over.
It's on his other
yeah.
computer.
It's in.
What are you doing, man?
I just look over and
Relax.
It's dead.
Not yet.
I look over.
What you mean not dead?
Not yet. Not yet, brother. Comes in January.
What?
Yeah, it's still alive.
Well, the servers are still on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was like, what you mean it's not dead?
I looked over and I was like, why is Anthem over there?
It's just where the scroll stopped. Okay, it's not a big deal. All right, let's jump into stuff, boys.
I don't know. That seems like a red flag of like distress when you're playing Anthem by yourself and not saying anything.
Oh,
It's one thing to just say, "Hey, I'm playing Anthem." It's another if you're like trying to hide it, man.
I'm not trying to hide it. It's just where the scroll stopped.
Do you need help?
Yes. I wish Anthem was better. I wish Anthem was better. That game was so cool, but God, was it bad. I wish Anthem was better, bro. Dang it, BioWare. Dang it, EA. Unfortunate. All right, let's jump into stuff, guys. This Xbox stuff's been wild, brother. Xbox stuff has been wild. Lots of layoffs and canceled projects all happening throughout this week. The most notable, Perfect Dark, has been canceled, as well as the initiative has been shut down. Everwild has also been canceled. On top of that, the rumored Banjo-Kazooie's been shelved. Romero Games, which is co-founded by the ID Soft, co-founder who helped develop early Doom games. His entire studio was shut down, his and his wife's. And apparently a dev there actually said literally the day before this happened, they were talking to the publishers. Nothing ever came out. Everything was hunky-dory fine. So their project obviously done. Apparently Forza Motorsport done after 20 plus years done. Turn 10 is 50% fired. ZeniMax has got a new MMORPG that's been canceled. And apparently Phil Spencer loved it, according to all reports, to the point where in meetings, Matt Booty had to literally rip the controller away from Phil because he just kept playing it in the middle of meetings, talking about it. Ravensoft and Sledgehammer, which is of course COD devs, they've been hit with a lot of layoffs. There's some other little tidbits here I'll shout out. But dude, this has been a crazy week, and one thing to shout out that I thought was so dang funny was the Perfect Dark thing, because Zach pointed this out in our group chat, and it ended up being apparently partially true, where Zach's just like, I always thought that Perfect Dark showcase just looked a little too good to be Perfect Dark, and then apparently a report came out that showcase that we had last year was all actually pre-rendered, not the game. But then a dev did come back and say, well, there was a lot of truth in there, but there was a lot of fluff in there too.
It was really smooth.
It looked really good.
For how long it was in development, I was leaning very slightly if they really focus, they can make it look this good. But it's really smooth.
It was too good to be true kind of thing. Now, honestly, with everything that's happened here, and let's touch on Everwild for a second, right? This game's been announced forever ago, just like Perfect Dark. Perfect Dark was announced 5 years ago. Literally in February, Phil Spencer had an interview where he talked about oh yeah, I recently played Everwild, and everything. They've been making a lot of progress, great progress over at Rare. Everything in the store, everything's all great. And now you have 9,000 jobs laid off, studio closures, projects canceled. And it really brings up that question of, can Xbox ever be taken seriously again in terms of when they say something can you take what they say serious, or can Xbox ever be trusted again? That's the thing. But it's also if the reports of this AI thing is true, which is all these cuts happen along with other cuts within Microsoft have all happened, so Microsoft can take all these safe funds and invest in AI, right? Obviously, this stems at Microsoft, especially when you look at stuff like Phil Spencer loved that ZeniMax MMO, right?
Yeah.
So if he loved it, why would he want to cancel it, right? Obviously there is some fluff where you have to put on a face and basically lie to the media and lie to us and lie to fans, whatever, to a point. Yes, that is just how it goes. But it's I would like to believe that this is not just all obviously stuff Xbox wanted to do. This comes from Microsoft. But it really brings the question: can Xbox ever be trusted again? In terms of what they say, because even with all this, Xbox said all the games that were shown at the summer showcase is safe. Is it though? I don't know. Like, and then there's other projects that we haven't heard from, like Contraband, which, you know, Contraband
Well-
has got one quick little thing and that was it.
The thing is, like, can Xbox be trusted? I mean, obviously not,
Right.
because if we just take it at face value that Xbox isn't the one making the decision and just like Microsoft is the one kind of behind the scenes deciding what's going, then no, you can't trust Xbox because clearly they're not telling them until after they've made the decision.
Mhm.
So it's like it doesn't matter what Phil says. It doesn't matter what any of these studios or anybody says. If Microsoft's going to make the decision behind the scenes and just like essentially pull rank and say, "Well, no, we're above you. We make the final decision." Then no, you can't listen to what Xbox says, even if they have good intentions when they say it.
Right. No, you know, and that's the best way to put it because, like, again, it's like if Microsoft's the one that says, "Hey, this is what you got to do," and they just got to do it, you know, it's your boss technically, you know,
Yeah.
they own you. What are you gonna do? Unfortunately, you know, it sucks, but it it is what it is. You know, there's a lot of other kind of I feel like possible elements go into this because one thing that did kind of come up was once again the conversation around Game Pass too. Whereas the former founder of Arcane and the current publishing director for Larian both kind of chimed in on this on Twitter, both kind of shared their concerns with Game Pass. The former founder of Arcane, you know, called Game Pass an unsustainable model that is damaging to the industry, among some other things. And the Larian publishing director kind of chimed in too that the numbers never made sense with Game Pass. So it's
Yeah.
just like, you know, like, oh, hey, put your game on here and this and that and that. It's like, oh, you're not losing money because the game sells. It's like, it's fine. It's like he pointed out, like, that doesn't really make sense. The numbers never made sense. And, you know, also, you know, kind of pointed out, it's just like, you know, Microsoft has an infinite well of money. What happens when that infinite well runs dry? Right? You know, that starts to run dry. Like, you know, they're going to look, you know, at something like Game Pass, which I think we can all agree Game Pass is like, you know, the greatest deal in gaming. And
Yeah.
it's like, it's to a point where it's kind of like the perfect dark thing. It almost feels too good to be true that you have all these brand new games coming day one to Game Pass. It's like, you got to think you're losing money there.
Well,
Like,
I think the idea with Game Pass is kind of like you take the Game Pass deal to guarantee some money,
right.
and that way, if your sales don't end up being as high as you wanted them to be, you still, or like if your game doesn't become as popular as you hoped it would be, you've still made money on it. Is
Mhm.
the idea, like kind of the idea behind Game Pass. I don't understand how that benefits Microsoft at all.
Yeah, right. That's where I've always been held up on the idea around Game Pass. Never made sense in that regard.
I mean, I guess the on the Microsoft end of that would just be if people buy Game Pass for a specific game that they keep their Game Pass, just letting it run like a subscription service and just get the excess money
Yeah.
from that way would be my guess. But I mean, yeah, it still doesn't have because I mean, even that conversation was started back when Game Pass was first announced of them going on about and people still being like, I'm not sure about this. But then we saw it and just sort of accepted it, and now
Right.
it's rearing its head again of like, okay, this still doesn't make sense. But now we've had it for up something years.
Right. Right.
Like the other thing with Game Pass is, like, I wonder how many people are kind of this way because I'd say there's a good number of people I know that they have Game Pass. They don't keep it all the time. They buy it for it's like they'll cancel it, wait until like 3 or 4 games come out that they want to play, and then by the time those games come out, there's a deal running where you get like 3 months of Game Pass for $3,
Yeah.
and it's like they do it for 3 months for that price, and then cancel it again. It's like there's no way they're making money on that. But I wonder if there's like a good number of people out there doing that. Because it's like I don't keep my Game Pass running year round.
Yeah.
I just get it every now and then when there's some games out that I want to play.
Yeah. You get it when you need it, kind of thing.
Yeah, it's like I have it right now, but that's because a bunch of games on there that I want to play.
Yeah.
It's like I probably would have. I was planning on canceling it this past month. I actually went in like a week or 2 ago to cancel it, and then
We talked about altars.
well, alters, and then I was about like gonna cancel it before it renewed again, and then I saw they have Rogue Trader on there, and I want to play
Yeah.
Rogue Trader.
This damn dog. She's trying to eat a towel.
Let her live her life, man.
I'm not gonna let her eat a towel, because then who's gonna have to pull it out when it comes out? That's gonna be me. Jeez. But with the whole Xbox thing, does any of the cancellations like shock you guys? Because the only thing that shocked me was Perfect Dark until I saw the reports about apparently the showcase. Everwild's not shocking. Like, dude, how long has that thing been announced and nothing on it? The game apparently got rebooted. Like, that's not surprising.
Well, even Perfect Dark, I'm not too surprised about because, I mean, Perfect Dark was announced 5 years ago.
Yeah,
And we've still got Jack
It's like
Hall.
we saw the one showcase of it, which, I mean, even from that showcase, Zach was suspicious of it.
yeah, he was.
And
I
it's
remember that.
From then, it's like we got that showcase. It's been what, over a year?
I think 2 years
Or,
by now.
like over a year.
Was it
2
last
years?
year's showcase or the year before?
A year before.
Was it? Oh.
So it's like it's been 2 years of nothing. So it's like if it was actually far enough along to where like that showcase would have been like actual in-engine stuff and not just pre-rendered,
Mhm.
they'd have to have something else to show.
Right.
But the fact that we haven't heard anything in such a long time, it's like I'm not necessarily surprised. I'm surprised that the first thing we hear is, "Oh yeah, it's gone. It's dead. Team's done. Everything like that, all in
Yeah.
one go."
Yeah,
You
studio's
would
done.
assume it would happen over a series of announcements.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, it'd just it's one where you don't hear about something for 2 years after you see something that looks really good. It's like, okay, something had to be wrong there.
Right.
I was about to say the only real surprising one for me is the Forza Motorsport.
Oh yeah,
Just-
it's been a staple.
Yeah, just because it's been a stable game and for them for years, even just them expanding into like the Forza Horizons and the
Yeah.
Motorsport, doing them separate. So, which brings up the question: is it just specifically Motorsport, or are they still planning on doing Horizon?
Horizon's still a thing. So
Yeah.
basically, with the 50% of Turn 10 that's still available, they've now just been shifted over to support for Forza Horizon.
That's unfortunate because, I mean, having the Motorsport and Horizon like every other year was sort of nice. Of just having the free form version of Horizon versus the like actual circuit
Yeah.
Motorsport.
I think it's. I mean, it sucks to say, but I think it kind of makes sense that that Motorsport's the one to get
Yeah,
cut
I mean,
because
yes.
especially like in the last 5 or 6 years, Forza Horizon has exploded in popularity.
Oh, most
Yeah.
definitely.
Now, people were saying that Forza Horizon 5 was robbed for a Game of the Year nominee.
Yeah,
when
I
it
mean-
came out a few years ago.
I'm not
I mean,
even-
I got into it like last year pretty good. It's a fantastic game.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not surprised by of the two which one did get cut. It's
Yeah,
just
yeah, yeah.
surprising
It's
that
unfortunate that it's
yeah.
happened.
Yeah, that's the thing, is that it's just gone in general.
yeah, because mostly everything else. I mean, as you said, Everwild and Perfect Dark, we've really just heard absolutely nothing about them recently, besides just supposed reports, which, as we now know, were just full of smoke.
Right.
And then I mean, all the other studios and whatnot. I mean, I'm not personally aware of many projects they were working on, like Romero Games and things like that.
Their game wasn't announced yet.
Yeah,
It was
that's
just
what-
like, hey, made
We're
a new
working on
studio.
something?
Like, hey, I know you helped found like ID Soft, so
Yeah.
Xbox was publishing their game for them.
Gotcha.
Which them ending the publishing deal essentially shut down the entire studio. Kind of similar to the Casey Hudson. He had a whole new studio where he was going to make a new sci-fi game, but he couldn't get the publishing for it. So his whole studio is now already gone and the game's canceled. So it's kind of the same thing with John there. So
I mean, I guess yeah, it's sort of the thing of just like from the main thing that we're getting was like most of these we hadn't actually seen anything on the consumer level. It was all still behind the scenes level.
yeah, like the MMO, for example.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's like top to bottom sucks, right?
Yeah.
9,000 jobs laid off, and we've had layoffs from Xbox every single year at this point. It's just been the constant downsizing. I saw someone who recently quote tweeted this news that popped out where they worked for Activision Blizzard,
Mm-hmm.
and they very clearly still bitter. because they were part of the layoffs of Activision Blizzard when it happened like last year, and they're just like, yeah, after the acquisition, Phil Booty and Sarah Bond walked in to Activision Blizzard with smiles, handshakes, inspirational speech about trust and togetherness, and building the future, just to lay us off like 2 months later, or something like that. It's just like, oof, oof, bad luck, brother. But again, especially with the reports that Microsoft, is wanting to invest all of these saved funds into AI and building the future of AI, it kind of puts in perspective that, Xbox is just kind of the punching bag here, because it's like, they're just kind of being told, hey, you gotta cut and save money. Pick your places where to save it.
Well, here's something I was kind of thinking about is if Microsoft's making all these decisions, but it's looking bad on Xbox, and if it's looking bad on Xbox, it's looking bad on Phil.
True.
How long is Phil going to be able to stay around if Microsoft keeps making these decisions where Xbox looks bad? And it's like the conversation for the last 5 years has been, when is Xbox going to be relevant again?
Yeah,
when is Xbox going to be back? When is Xbox going to have anything going for it? And now, like, 9,000 jobs laid off. It's like a bunch of big name games being shut down. All this bad press and everything. How long does Microsoft think it can keep throwing all of that at Phil and like making him kind of the bad guy in this situation before he's just done?
Until he leaves, probably.
Yeah, so that's the last part of your question of until he's done. That's the interesting thing, because like a part of all these reports and shit coming out is that apparently after Xbox launches their next console, Phil was going to retire. Which then Microsoft personally came in and said Phil's not leaving anytime soon. Which that feels like a little bit like prisoner mentality, in my opinion, brother.
Well, that's kind of the thing is like if they're saying he's not leaving anytime soon, it's like what do they got over him?
Yeah, right.
What do they got over him? Because it's like he's just a punching bag.
He is.
Almost definitely.
He's Microsoft's scapegoat right now.
Right.
And has been for a while.
Yeah.
It's like he's got to. I wonder if he's got a contract that's like you can't leave until a certain date, and I wonder if that as soon
It's
as
quite
that
possible,
date comes
unfortunately.
up, it's like if that date comes up and suddenly we just hear Phil Spencer gone.
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean, you bringing up the question of until he leaves, because like, I mean, I know he loves gaming. Like
most
he
definitely.
plays games all the time. You can look up P3, and he's playing like during all this news dropping, he was playing games. So people were pointing that out, which is further a bad look for him, unfortunately. But like what you just said, you feel like at some point, like you as a person are just gonna reach a point where you're just tired of it. You're tired of being the punching
It's like
bag.
he's there because he loves games. He wants to do as much as he can for it.
Yeah.
There's only so much that like your boss could just throw you under the bus for and just be like, smile, damn it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's also a thing of like he's the face and head of Xbox, and I mean, he's just seeing all this just rip apart and whatnot. It's just like, what projects can I do that I can not be afraid of that won't just suddenly get canceled
Right.
to get to people?
Right.
It could also, just thought of this too, it could just be him thinking, if I leave, they're done.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, whenever Phil leaves Xbox, it's going to take a big hit
Yeah, which
in terms of just how people look at Xbox and everything.
Yeah. True.
And especially in the way that he ends up leaving, whether it's just a retirement, firing, him leaving, and then just dumping the black box of secrets.
Right. Just dumping everything out there.
they're not going to let him go without him having a multitude of NDAs.
Oh, most definitely.
Facts. Oh, yeah, facts.
It's going to be like, if you say anything,
You're done, brother. You thought Nintendo Ninjas was bad. Just you wait. Just you wait. No, I mean, dude, this sucks. But, one thing, to kind of circle back on is something that you said, Zach. It was like all the projects ultimately got canned. It is kind of like the consumer level stuff that we haven't really seen updates on or seen a lot on or even seen at all. So, I mean, like if it's one of those things where Microsoft comes down like, hey, budget cuts. Here's what you got to get rid of. Pick your poison. Pick what you want to get rid of. And I guess the stuff they picked, I guess to an extent makes an unfortunate amount of sense.
Well, the other thing is, like, so say like Forza Motorsports. It's kind of like Zach said, it was kind of a staple you expected to see every other year. It's like it's one where I don't know how popular the game was, but that game probably just made money because people love, like the people that love it.
Yeah.
And then it's like, if you're canceling Everwild, if you're canceling Perfect Dark, what the hell do you have at Xbox?
It's like nothing.
These are your, like, the big games people have been waiting on news for 5 years. You just canceled.
Right.
And you've got nothing to show for it.
And then they just laid off people from the studios of Gears, which is the other main franchise people have been waiting to hear.
They even laid off people from Call of Duty studios.
Yeah.
Ravensoft and Sledgehammer. Like, jeez.
It's like, if your whole, like, Xbox's whole push for the last decade has been Game Pass. Problem is, you can push Game Pass as much as you want to. If you cancel all of your big projects, you got nothing to put on Game Pass.
Right. Here's a comment that I love because it's a great question. It's a great question. Illustrious just commented this. With Perfect Dark canceled, does this mean that 5 years is too long to make a game, or is some other precedent set? That's a great question because it reminded me of a tweet that I saw earlier about all these cancellation stuff. That's just like, we've talked about this before about like the inflating prices and
most
dev time
definitely.
stuff. Here's something someone pointed out that really made me just stop and think. Damn, you right, brother. Is this dude said on Twitter, it's like, I blame the dev time and budgets for modern video games and what's going on in the industry. During the 7th generation, we had 3 Mass Effects, 3 Batman Arkhams, 3 Dead Spaces, 3 Bioshocks, 8 Rockstar games, 2 Fallouts, 2 Elder Scrolls, 5 Halo games, and 4 Gears.
Mm-hmm.
And it really puts it in a whole different perspective. So it's like, is 5 years too long to make a game, or some other precedent set? I feel like, in certain cases, yes, right? Like when you're under an umbrella like a Microsoft or a Sony, yeah, I think 5 years might be pushing it. To have substantial, like, you got to have substantial growth kind of thing.
It depends because
It does, yeah.
I mean, the example I'll bounce back to on Sony's side over and over again: Sony Santa Monica, God of War 2018, God of War Ragnarok 2023. It's like the 5 year turnaround for a sequel of it. But it's something people were really excited for. It's something is going to be successful. Perfect Dark should have been that.
Right.
But from what we talked about it a multitude of times, Perfect Dark being in development hell.
Yep.
And like
having so many setbacks.
Like being set back, being rebooted, starting over, development teams changing, like heads of the project changing and stuff like that. I don't know how bad the management has to be for there to not be a vision to the point where you're constantly starting the game over and like cycling through people that often to where you have to essentially restart the game 3 times. But yeah, it's like there's something wrong in the management level and the way the processes work at a lot of Microsoft studios, because that's all we've heard for 7 years is games constantly being having to be rebooted halfway through, spending 3 years on the game and starting over. It's like, well, yeah, if you're doing that, of course you're gonna. It's like you might as well cancel the game at that point, pretty much.
Which also brings up the question: at what point do they cancel the game? Because it feels like for some of these, I feel like we went past the point.
Oh, most definitely.
I mean? So it's like, at what point do we cancel the game? Because we can reference back to a little weekly wrap-up point we had like a week or two ago with Dragon Age of Elgard.
Yeah.
At what point do you cancel the game? Like, because I feel like with the amount of cancellations and wasted time that we have in today's gaming industry, I feel like studios need to try to have that realization on when to go ahead and pull the plug early versus waiting too long on it.
I mean, I feel like a standard should be like, if you feel like your development team has to completely redo the game from the groundwork up and you're already like 3 years in, you may want to consider canceling.
I
like that.
agree. I agree 100%.
Because like, well, you bring up like Dragon Age because that is a great example because of the fact that that game was being worked on for like 2 years. Then it got turned into a live service game,
Yep. Then
And
not a
then-
live service game.
and then it got retooled to not be a live service game. Which, even though it's not a live service game, if you play through that game, you can tell how it was supposed to be a live service game.
Right.
Like from the way items and everything work, as well as some of the map layouts where it's like there's probably going to be a public event here.
Right.
To the point where you even said, John, the part that we come to understand was possibly just completely redone by the Mass Effect team. You said there's towards
yeah,
the end of the
it-
game, there's
it-
a hard change of like,
oh yeah,
Yeah.
what happened.
Yeah.
The entire ending sequence of the game was done by the Mass Effect team, and the entire ending sequence of the game is the best story part of the game. But yeah, just back to your question of like how it's one where I think it comes back to knowing what game you're gonna make.
True.
Yeah.
Is you can't just say we're gonna make a perfect dark game. You got to know what that looks like. You got to have something that you're working towards. And yeah, if you, like Zach said, if you're working on it for 2.5, 3 years, and then look at it and go, "Oh, this isn't gonna work," and you have to scrap everything and start over, cancel it then. Don't work on it for another year and then put like a big 3-minute trailer out showing what the game is supposed to be, and then come back and go, "Oh shit, they liked it. Now we gotta figure something out."
Yeah. Another thing that that can also help alleviate a lot of issues that bring to light from a media standpoint for content creators, media in general, whatever, is something that we bitch about all the time.
Stop announcing games so
Stop
early.
announcing games so early. Like we
I-
bitch about this all the time. Just stop.
It's like it's the other thing. Okay, I knew you were going there.
Yeah,
but
thank you.
We've talked about it before, and to an extent, I can understand it. Like
Yeah.
some teams where it's like you want to put some quick trailer together, even if it's just like a 10-second thing showing the name of the game to
Mhm.
get people hyped up to like get more money for your development for it.
I mean, and what some teams do, they do it to get people to apply
Yeah.
for it as well.
Yeah,
it's
hey, we
essentially
need people to work on this.
it's a showcase to go, hey, who wants to come be on this team?
Mhm.
But it's also like I feel like half the games that happens to these days don't come out,
No.
Yeah.
and it's like, don't just stop doing it. It's like, think of 15 years ago. These fantastic games were made, and it's like people that wanted to be in the industry. They found their way into working on them. You don't have to announce it. You don't, but that's the other thing is like all of these studios have 500-800 people working on the game. It's like, you don't need that many people.
Right.
Look at Expedition 33,
True.
which caveat
Extreme example.
that is an extreme example.
It's an extreme example for partially because a lot of the people on that team are former people from other studios
Yes.
Yeah.
that knew how to make games already.
But here's where I was going to go with it. I mean, it is an extreme in which you should not keep that as like the bar for expectation.
Mhm.
It is also a thing of like they had a progress point of where they were wanting to take the game because they've said in multiple interviews that we had a base of like we wanted this to happen and we just built around that.
Yep.
Which I think another stopgap point for in a game development should be like, do we have a clear direction?
Mhm.
Like, could all the pieces of the team that was working on Perfect Dark come together and being able to tell the same production timeline?
Yeah. And it's also in terms of like having a direction. I feel like that rings true for Everwild. Because like keep in mind, boys, like there was like the reports like 2 years ago that one thing that caused Everwild to apparently get rebooted is because like the original version of Everwild had like no combat and apparently it felt really
Yep.
weird for what the game was going for. So they had to reboot everything so they could implement some form of combat to the game. Like so it's like, do you have a direction? That's a good thing to point out. So Because like the thing with Everwild is a great example for that. You know, and with
'Cause, I mean-
Exodus 33, they knew what they wanted to do.
Exactly, because like a lot of our big hitter games the last couple of years have been games that caveat development teams that knew one what they were doing,
Right.
but two had a clear objective of what they wanted their game to be.
Yep.
Another caveat and Starlight example, which should not be counted as a base, Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was about to mention it. The thing with a lot of these like big successful games that come out, these like Game of the Year nominees and that, they're made. It's like even if they're made by larger teams, they're made by teams that are all in on the same
Mission.
vision.
Yeah.
It's like they may be larger teams, but they're like studios dedicated to making their type of game.
Mhm.
Yes.
Because it's like,
Hazelight.
I was gonna say you have Hazelight, you have Sony Santa Monica, you have,
The guy who made Balatro.
yeah,
Yeah.
you have that. You have Sandfall. It's like
Mhm.
you have Larian. It's like these teams that it's like they are created because they are gonna make a certain type of game, and that is the type of if you come to them. It's like if a game is going to come from that studio, you already know what the game is going to be like.
Yep.
You know the style of game they make. They're just the masters of that type of game.
Yeah.
And I mean, to throw in one that's more on the grounds of more consistently AA and AAA, Sucker Punch.
Mhm.
Sucker Punch has consistently released solid games.
Mhm.
And as far as I'm aware, we haven't ever heard much about development issues and things like that from any of their games they've
No,
been
not
working
really.
on in the last several years.
Everything's been going well for the Ghost stuff.
Yeah.
So
And then like just other weird ball games that I mean have come out to people who don't even really go for those types of games getting invested into it. Weirdly enough, the Date Everything game that came out.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
That was a game developed by a crew that solely just wanted a giant dating sim.
Yeah. And they did it.
That's what they did. They got tons of voice actors, all well known and not as well known.
Yep.
And it's just been a phenomenal success for people who want to experience that.
Yep.
Even a lot of people who didn't realize they wanted to experience that.
Right.
Yeah, I do agree. I think it is a problem of a lot of these studios will just they're usually broken into different teams, but when they get handed a project and be like, "Hey, you're gonna work on this," they're not picking what they want to work
Yeah,
on. They're
I was
being,
going to get to that too.
they're being told, "You're gonna make this. Find your people to make it," and it's like they have their troops and they just kind of got to pull from it. So it's
Yeah.
like you may have people who've never worked on that type of game, people who are used to making something different, and it's like, okay, well, we got people from 6 different teams here. We'll just figure it out as we go.
Yep.
One big example is the catastrophe that was Redfall. And they had
They did not want them
they
to
had
make that damn
Arcane
game.
Studios who wanted nothing to do with that game, but were contractually obligated to make said game.
Yep.
And we got the crapshoot that was Redfall.
Yep. Where I remember like devs or like lead devs or whatever said that when Xbox bought Bethesda that they were and ZeniMax that they were praying that they were going to cancel the game and they didn't do it. They're like, damn it, son of a bitch, gotta keep making
Which
this
I
thing.
think that's the other part that's really hurt the gaming industry in terms of development is the fact that we have bigger corporations that own the studios trying to dictate and navigate the developers and instead of just allowing the developers do their thing.
Yeah, right. Because it's like,
Because Sony's been hurting for years because they're like, we want live service.
yep. And then that's one of those things too, where you guys were just talking about having developers make games that they don't develop. Is that you have, Naughty Dog being forced to make a live service game that they pulled the plug on, right?
Yeah. It's a weird thing of like where Sony has kind of been better about that, where like they have like Naughty Dog is a bad example of them doing that,
Right.
but it's like they have a few studios where like you just do your thing and just call us when you need money.
Yeah, Sony, Santa Monica, and
He's like
Insomniac.
Insomniac of that. And Microsoft is like this weird case where like they'll buy certain studios and essentially just tell them it's like, hey, keep doing exactly what you're doing. We'll just give you the money for it. And it's some they buy them and they're like, we know you want to do your thing.
But we need this from you.
It's like, we need this. We know you don't make this, but here's a little bit of money. Try to make this, and we'll come back to you in like a year. And if you got something we don't like, we're gonna cancel you.
In which they don't even mention the cancel part. They were just like, "We'll see you in a year."
Yeah, we'll see you in a year. What happens from there, we'll see. Because it's like the Romero Games, where it's like, yeah, literally just the day before this happened, we were talking to the publishers and everything was fine, and now we're canceled. Now we're shut down. So, no facts, man. No, everything about this whole situation is wild. It's unfortunate. But
You could even say it's Everwild.
it is Everwild. That is one way that you could put it, brother. But again, with the cancellations that took place, like Zach pointed out earlier, like from a consumer level, I guess it does unfortunately make a sad part of sense. Right? Like it's sad. We hate to see it. But I don't know. Again, can you trust anything Xbox says going forward? Nope. You're gonna have to take everything with a grain of salt going forward. They say everything from this summer showcase is safe. All right, besides like maybe Clockwork Revolution, we'll see. We'll see, brother.
I mean, you could say everything from this showcase. This year's showcase is safe. Also a showcase where I came out of it and I was like, could have been an email.
Right. And apparently also OD is safe, which no surprise there since that's Kojima, right? If I feel like if they cancel Kojima's project, he's had stuff canceled before. With PT, and then kind of being kicked out of Konami or aggressively leaving Konami.
I mean,
whatever it is.
Kojima would be fine. He's getting the Death Stranding 2 money now.
Yeah, exactly.
And he's got his own whole production studio and development team.
Yeah,
this is just a project he's doing as a favor.
Yeah,
there's only one game we got to make sure is safe from this year's showcase. Cube.
The Cube, yeah.
The live service game of all things.
Yeah, the Atomic Heart game that John is excited for, even though he hated Atomic Heart
MMO.
Yeah.
That's gonna probably suck.
Yeah, but John's gonna play like how many hours of it? Ballpark.
Probably at least 30.
Depends on how much there is to do.
Okay, fair enough. What's the normal average for these random like live service like MMO games that you play? Like what's the average play time you usually end up putting into them, you think?
Probably about 250.
All right, 250 in the Cube coming from John. It's going to be the weekly update of John playing this certain live service game. Shout out to the Cube. All right, you guys ready for sponsor?
Yeah.
All right, let's do a sponsor read. Let's do some Rogue Energy. Use our referral link down below. Promo code Sparky30 to get 10% off your order. Whether if you're picking up hydration, chill, or the energy, the promo code and the referral link works for all of it. And hey, if they got a better sale going on, no big deal. You can still use the referral link down below and still help the brand, and you don't have to use promo code Sparky3. Use the better code. No big deal. We want you to save money, but if you want to support the brand, referral code's all you got to use. Again, referral link down below, promo code Sparky3.
They do have a 4th of July sale going on, but I don't remember what the code is currently.
I don't know either. Before we hop to the next thing, I'm going to let these dogs out because Lola keeps trying to eat that dang towel. Lola, why are you trying? Dude, she does this all the time for the record.
Oh, the 4th of July code's BOGO50.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Get a tub, get a second one half off.
Dang dog.
So, Zach, I believe based off of your earlier thing, your earlier statement, you didn't look at this Bandai Namco thing at all, did you?
I saw it was live and was something I could watch. I did not concern myself with it because I can watch that later, and then forgot it completely.
That's fair. I mean, I only actually just watched it today, finally. I saw the Digimon thing when it first came out, and I watched that separately, but I watched the entire thing probably like 3 hours ago.
Yeah, I watched the beginning of it, and then...
Wait, DBZ Kakarot's getting DLC after how many years it's been out?
Kakarot's been out a while. Like, what, 2020, maybe?
I think it was 2020 or 2019, I think.
Around there.
Is it going to play the Xenoverse 2 rules?
Probably. I mean, Xenoverse 2 still getting stuff.
Zach, it don't hold a candle to Xenoverse 2.
Xenoverse 2
it needs about 25 more DLCs.
But Xenoverse 2 is so frustrating. Just give us Xenoverse 3.
But I mean, the rules of that, it's just going to randomly get DLC every couple years.
Yep.
Just because it can.
I mean, hey.
I mean, Xenoverse randomly gets it every like 2 months.
Yeah, true.
Is it that frequent?
I feel like at least once a year we'll hear about Xenoverse 2.
I knew it was at
DLC.
least once a year.
Yeah.
It's usually like if there's a rumbling, or like if there's been any new like show content or like manga content or anything, it's like Xenoverse is coming.
I was about to say, didn't Xenoverse finally get the Serialins or whatever they were called?
The Serialins, yeah. I think they did start to finally get those recently.
God, I hate that name.
Come on, man, it's great.
Imagine what the base game of Xenoverse 3 is gonna look like.
Dude, I know. Whenever they finally actually do Xenoverse 3, what is the base game going to look like?
Non-existent because no one's even working on it.
No, hey, shout out to the Serialins, though. Toritara recently came out and said that Granola is his favorite character because whenever he presented Granola to Toriyama, it was an immediate approval and immediate yes. No changes had to be made.
So that was Toriyama's Fat Princess.
Yes, correct. It was Granola.
That is forever going to be a reference for me now.
That's great. For context here, he's talking about how the former head of Sony walked into the Fat Princess pitch, saw it, it's like, that's my daughter. Make your game.
He personally said in an interview that was the fastest game he greenlit.
That's so funny.
It's a PS3 game that never got a sequel. It's solely on the PS3, and then she's in PlayStation All Stars.
She is in PlayStation All Stars, isn't she? I totally forgot about that.
Damn straight she is.
Forgot all about that, dude. Shout out to PlayStation All Stars, bro.
The fighting game that we wish Jumps Stars would have been.
Oh, dude, I know. But at least Jump Stars, at least it had Suna in it. So, you know what? I can walk away happy with that. You know, that Suna came over to the West in some capacity. You know, at least at the time. You know, he's getting a little bit more in the West right now.
It's not a great look.
It's something. I got to take what I can get. I got to take my dubs when I get them. But anyway, no, Bandai Namco Summer Showcase took place. Just a slew of stuff, slew of extra new trailers. Kind of just some little tidbit announcements here or there for a lot of different games. You know, the biggest, I guess biggest in terms of like new announcements would be the My Hero Academia All Justice game, which is going to be completing the My Hero story with this one. You know, we've got Shadow Labyrinth showed off a boss fight with there, which again, the game looks sick. New fighter for Tekken 8. Fuckaram, is that how you say his name? I think that's how they said it in the trailer that I watched earlier.
And that sounds right, but I never played them, so
Fuckaram.
be careful how you say that.
Yeah, I know. I'm saying fuck here, but then we of course got the DBZ Kakarot Daima Part 1, so we do have a Part 2 coming. More roles for Death Note Killer Within, which watching that trailer, it's just like, yeah, this is literally just Among Us Death Note.
But it's apparently very good.
Yeah, it's just Among Us Death Note, man. Let's see, more gameplay for Toa and the Guardians of the Sacred Tree, which this actually looked kind of cool. Like I was watching the gameplay for it, I was like, that actually looks kind of fun.
I keep seeing this and on because is it a JRPG?
It's a it's a roguelike though.
Okay, because all of our JRPGs always have like tons of costumes, and I just see the Guardians being all male in host outfits.
I wouldn't go that far.
It's just where my brain goes because it's Japanese. I'm just like, there's gonna be fan service outfits.
No, I mean, I think it looks actually pretty cool.
I mean, from what I've seen, it looks like an okay.
Yeah. Revenants are returning to Code Vein 2, which I have not played Code Vein, so I have no reference to what that means, but it's cool. Super Robot Wars Y. Everybody,
is this a remaster?
The Super Robot Wars?
Yeah.
I think so.
Okay, because I know this is a PS2 game.
Yeah. Everybody Golf's Hot Shots, which apparently you guys are just... I'm the outcast here, I guess. You know, I didn't know.
I'll probably pick it up.
I mean, I'd play it.
Let's see, Little Nightmares 3 and Patapon 1 and 2 replay. We also had Blood of the Dawn Walker gameplay and story reveal as well. But then the big one for like John and I, of course, is Digimon Storytime Stranger Deep Dive, which is like an almost 10-minute trailer.
And what'd they show?
Cool. Just further showing like the areas that you can explore, the battling process, as well as like the digivolving, de-digivolving, and stuff like that. Yeah, I feel like it was like a lot of information that we can either just assume or just already kind of know. It was just still nice to see it.
I feel like they're doing a lot of the deep dive on it, like going into detail about stuff we're already familiar with.
Yeah,
because they're seeing the excitement for it.
Yeah, I feel like it's more so for new fans.
Yeah,
question for you,
I think
John.
a lot of it is showing people what they're gonna have to be doing. That if you would have played the previous games, you would already assume it's gonna happen.
Do you think they'll release DLC outfits for your main character of the Survive characters' outfits?
I can see that considering they have pre-order bonus outfits
They have pre-order bonus outfits for the Cyber Sleuth.
and the Adventure
Yeah.
Cast and some of the Adventure Cast.
Well, I figured those. I was just curious, would they make a Survive connection reference?
I could see that. I mean, why not?
They might. I don't know if it'd be like day one, but
No,
Yeah.
that's definitely not.
they do a lot of like costume stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I can't ask if they're going to put the Digimon in there because I assume they're already in there.
I mean, yeah, they probably will all be in there because this game's gonna have
The
Like
largest cast of
twice-
Digimon,
like
right?
twice the number of Digimon from
Yeah. Over 450.
yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, like, again, I think what John just said is probably the best way to describe like the recent showcase and deep dives is like I feel like it's really targeting a lot of like new players that just because the excitement is so high. Because like there was a lot of stuff in this, like 9 minute whatever deep dive where it's like, okay, I mean, yeah, I can assume that there was just some quality of life stuff that I was like, well, that was cool to see. I like to
Yeah.
see that. I like to see this, but
Most of like the new mechanic information is coming out in articles.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like-
exactly.
If you're really wanting to know what's different, you kind of dive in and find it. I feel like these showcases are for new players
Yeah.
because they're like, we got a lot more excitement than we expected for this. So let's show them some of the mechanics beforehand so they don't get confused while they're playing.
Yeah.
I can only chuckle at this and just being, where was the path change for them to give so much push and advertisement for Time Strangers versus Survive? I understand. I think it was two different development teams, correct?
Yeah, I think
Oh,
so. Yeah.
So where was the path choice
Well,
change? Did they just go, we don't expect a lot from Survive, so
I think probably
Survive was also kind of
it was
niche.
it was
well,
niche.
it's a several years back now, and it was kind of in that zone where it's like if you were excited about a Digimon game, you were looking for a Digimon game.
Yeah.
Which somehow a few years later seems to have changed.
Where
Right.
people want a Digimon game.
Where it's like they see it and they go, "Oh, this looks great." It's like,
Yeah.
well, yeah, this one does look great.
Right.
You say
It's like-
Survive didn't look great?
We didn't know what it was.
Exactly.
It was a screenshot for years.
Zach, I spent a year saying I didn't think the game existed.
Yep, until it literally came out. No, one of the new like mechanics that we've already kind of seen with Time Stranger, and I just want to shout this out because I've seen like more elements to it, is like the rideable Digimon and stuff. Of just like all the different. I've seen a lot of champion Digimon of people showing like on Twitter they can ride, like you can ride like Growlmon, Geogreymon, Greymon, Vidramon, like list goes on. But one that I saw that was like, okay, that's pretty cool. If you're gonna do rideable Digimon, that one better be included. Is Armadillomon's armor form? Is it Submarine Mon, the whale? Is that its name? Submarine Mon, I think.
Oh.
Either way.
I didn't think it was Submarine.
Well, you know exactly.
I know what you're talking about. I don't know.
It's the armor digivolution for Armadillomon. It's a whale that's a submarine, and like in the show, like Cody, like there's like a little cockpit that Cody could lay into and would dive underwater with. You can ride in it, so and dive underwater. That's cool. That's so cool. So I'm here for that shit. So that's a cool mechanic.
You think it's gonna get struck by Nintendo?
Oh, brother, don't open that can.
I mean, Nintendo's got BS patents over here in the West.
They do have a lot of BS patents. You're not wrong.
I'm gonna throw it out there.
Do not throw it out there. We don't need them demons on Digimon Time Stranger.
They hurt Power World. Power World's still succeeding.
Oh, poor Power World, man. It's still
Not
rocking.
poor Power World. It's still rocking its thing. It just did the Terraria collab.
Well, I mean,
update.
poor Power World and the fact that like they've got to battle against this bullshit nonstop. There we go. But no, everything out of this showcase though was honestly pretty solid. I mean, a lot of cool stuff. I mean, the gameplay for Blood of the Dawnwalker was pretty cool. That was nice. See, the boss fight with Shadow Labyrinth was really sick. And then of course just Digimon. So I mean, overall pretty solid. And then Toa and the Guardians of the Sacred Tree. I thought it looked cool. I thought it looked cool. Just a nice anime roguelike basically is what it was. So look cool. Did you see anything special out of Tom Stranger that we haven't shout out? Because I'm trying to think if there's anything we missed here. Because all I've been seeing on Twitter nonstop is like people raving about the rideable Digimon. That's the biggest thing I've seen. I can't think of anything
Nothing
else.
sticking out. I'm kind of I've been like watching what comes out,
Yeah.
but I haven't seen anything that like is mind blowing to me
Okay.
yet.
That's been me
Because
too.
it's mostly at this point I'm like, okay, I know we're getting closer, so you want to talk about it more.
Yeah.
But let's just get to the point where I can play the game.
Right. Right. 10-3. I'll play it on like 10-14.
Yeah. So it's like that's kind of where I'm at. I'm like, I mean, the information's cool, but I want to play the game.
Yeah. Oh God, almost there. Almost there. It's like 90 days. 90 days until it comes out. So big shout out to that. Let's shout out some merch. Shout out some Rogue Energy as well as our own personal merch store. Use our referral link down below. Head over to Agent Inc. Ugh. I think I almost said like Agent Energy.
Well, because you said Rogue Energy in our shop.
Did I say Rogue Energy?
Yes, you did.
Agent Inc. in our shop. Head over to the referral link down below to go over to Agent Inc. and buy a jersey or a hat. Or go over to sparkyshop.com and pick up a shirt or a hat as well, like the We Have Hats hat or the B shirt. Again, use our referral link down below for Agent Inc. and head over to sparkyshop.com, pick up some merch. We'd appreciate that extra support. I don't know what tongue tie just happened to me just now. Jesus Christ.
No, and you just had a brain lapse.
Yeah, I know. That happens a lot. That happens a lot, brother. I finished the altars. Shout out to that. Let me bust out the board. Get my final official rating on the game.
Did they all hate you?
No. We were all the besties for resties. It was great. The
That
vibes
was
were
reset
high.
number.
Don't get me start counting. It's a lot of reloads. A lot of reloads.
How many times do you reload in Act 3?
Believe it or not, I think none. I think I actually once. Yeah, no, once.
Do note,
Once.
turning back time is not a standard feature of the game.
You're supposed to
No.
just go, but
You're supposed to just go, but if you do reload an old save, you still get to see all the choices you made.
that is true. That is true. Overall, I think this game is a solid 8. A very good game.
Really? Only an 8?
I think an 8's fair. Though. Very good game. Very much enjoyed it. With the ending that I got, because there are multiple endings, I got a good ending, but I didn't get the best ending because there was like one like side plot in the story that I completely just ignored and did not do, and that kind of took me away from the ability of trying to have like, I guess, quote unquote, the best ending. But I still had a good ending. You know, I still made like good choices to, I guess, make everyone happy to some extent. But you know, there's still it's one of those kind of games where there is very clear bad endings where you're an asshole, and then all the good endings, there's like bad in the good, right? Like there's no perfect ending. Everyone's smiles and happiness, but
I want you to do a run without the scientist.
you can't do that.
Sure, you can.
No, I don't. I literally don't think you can.
You can try it.
You can't. I don't think you can. I think you literally have to get them at some point. Like obviously, you get the tech by default story, but I think you have to get the scientist.
Yeah, because you have to have them because to progress, especially in Act 2, you have to progress.
Yeah, no,
By
you
researching stuff, yeah.
have to
you wouldn't
progress by
even
research, and
you wouldn't even
be
get
able to-
past Act 1.
Well, you just said if you reload a save, it keeps all your previous choices, correct?
Well,
No.
you can see like in dialogue options
what you picked.
it'll show you if you've picked it before, so you could go a different path.
See,
if you
here
wanted
I
to.
was hoping that with the new game plus, it would have all the quantum computer sets for you.
Mm-mm. No, so like the scientists, you have no choice. Like you have to have them. Now, I will say for my second playthrough, I'm going to do. I think I have already picked out probably all the altars I'm going to do because I want to try to. I want to meet everybody. You know, so my next one's gonna be kind of random. I'm not even gonna lie. My next one's not gonna help me for my day-to-day shit because I'm gonna have tech and scientists because I have to. I'm gonna have the doctor again, so I can also get the shrink as well. I'm gonna probably have the refiner again, so I can also get the worker because I never met the worker. And there's my 6. So it's gonna be a weird oddball group. So no botanist, no miner, It's gonna be a weird.
No bouncer.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no bouncer. I want the bouncer.
Just get the guard.
I want the guard.
Just get the guard instead of someone else.
Yeah, I want the. What line is he? What line is he in? You guys remember?
He's his own.
Yeah, I think he's his own.
He's the start of one.
Well, I mean, like, so is he part of the Prime Yawn?
Yeah,
Yawn
like Prime Yawn. If you just he's one of the branches.
If that's the case, I might get him instead of the Shrink.
It's just he requires the level 3 supercomputer.
Okay, yeah, I might get him instead of the Shrink. Yeah, no, I think I'm gonna do those. You guys, neither of you have beat the game, right?
Nope.
No.
Okay. I'm not going to sit here and talk about it and spoil it in the sake of a show. If I did a video, I'd probably have like a spoiler up here. Here's this. There is something I really want to talk about with one of the altars.
Well, good luck. He's playing RuneScape, and I got gotcha.
Yeah, there's something I really want to talk about with one of the altars with how the ending goes, because it's just like, that's just, I don't know about you, buddy. But no, I mean, overall, very good game. Really enjoyed it. I will say Act 3 was just so short. I mean, I saw what you meant by time management because it was tough.
Yeah,
God,
it's
so
why
short.
it's why I have to restart my Act 3 when I go back to it.
So yeah, now that I think about it, I did restart Act 3 once.
I would have to restart Act 3 because I fucked up and lost like 3 or 4 days to
radiation.
Yeah, lost some days to radiation.
Mm-hmm.
Got lost trying to get resources for a while.
Mm-hmm.
I know where they are now, so I could get them all real quick.
Right.
And then I'm just out of time to be able to do everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, very like I said, I had a great time with it. I really enjoyed the ending. I enjoyed some of the ending elements that you got to do, like the one, like the final, like big. Here's the big thing you got to do. Just everything about it was kind of hype. You know, the music was really on point. Just everyone constantly chiming in, talking to you while you're trying to do what you got to do and stuff. It was really cool, really enjoyable. I saw a lot of people bitch about the epilogue. A lot of people complained about the epilogue because the epilogue is ungodly short, and it doesn't give full closure for like what happens, like let's say like your altars, depending on the ending that you pick. So like with my ending, you know, like I said, I got a quote unquote good ending. You know, I got a general obvious idea of what my altars are doing, but I feel like everyone wants to know what each individual altar is doing, right? I think that's what people want to know. Because like, you know, I can only assume that all of them are together and doing the things that I saw like in my little clip it that I got. Like I'm assuming they're all 6 together doing it. That's my assumption. I don't know. But I think that's what a lot of people are pretty upset about the ending of altars, just because like the lack of like clarity on what the altars are doing. Besides like just a quick little thing, they want more on that. But it was a very short epilogue. So, but no, great game. Really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed the altars. I want to start up a second playthrough sometime soon. Now that I know how to play the game, and hopefully not have to reload 74 times.
I was gonna say, do you think it would have scored a little higher for you if it wasn't frustrating?
No, because like that was part of the experience for me. You know, as you guys know, I'm a bitch. I don't play a lot of super challenging games or challenging modes. I like to just enjoy a game. So I mean, it was very frustrating at times, but in a good way. I think
does it have a difficulty choice?
Yes, actually, it does.
I don't remember.
I think it does actually.
Okay.
I think it does actually have a difficulty choice. I can't remember what the difficulty does, but yeah, I think it does.
Okay.
No, I think what knocked it down from like a 9 to an 8 for me was the epilogue. Like epilogue was just okay. Act 3 was kind of short. I understand why it was kind of short. Wasn't a big fan of that, but other than that, I can't really say a whole lot negative about the game. It's just a lot of fun. Really good game. Really enjoyed it top to bottom. Act 3 zone was a bitch, though, with the anomalies. Lord have mercy. So many. How's Persona?
I mean, it's fine. I mean,
how's it going for you? I told you before we started the show I had to restart my account. So, you know, I'm not very far. I'm still in the first palace. You're in the second palace.
Yep, I'm progressing. Just got to the second palace last night after just messing with stuff because I mildly hit the level wall. But I got through.
What is the level? What is the level?
You have to be able to finish the first palace. You have to hit level 30 on the account.
To finish the first palace?
Yeah,
Okay.
because it won't let you initiate the calling card sequence until you hit level 30 to do the fight, which you probably need because that's when you can get your characters level 40. And the Subway Slammer, I think, was level 35, 36, one of those. Honestly, the story fight was actually really simple and easy. His actual material farming fight afterwards is much harder than his actual story fight, which I slightly understand, but the scale difficulty is very lopsided.
Right.
To the point where I did his mat fight, I went, this is an entirely different fight. I do find it funny that it is following the trend, since it is technically Persona 5 timeline. We are doing the 7 deadly sins again.
Oh, we are?
Yes, because apparently the Subway Slammer was lust. So we're also doing them in the same order, from what it looks like.
Okay.
Yep.
Interesting.
Yeah, and the funny thing is that after you do the first palace, when you go back into the metaverse and Lufel's talking to you, he's just like, all right, we need to, I know there's another palace in here, but we need to find it. I know there's at least 7 of them. I was like, okay, all right.
So yeah, 7 deadly sins.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's funny to me that Morgana had no clue, and it was just that as we found them. But first, they're setting up Phantom X is like, these palaces are already established in somewhere, and Cat already has an awareness of that they exist somewhere here in the metaverse. And which, with some of the story points with the second palace and chapter, well, it's still technically chapter 1, I believe, but the second villain is hinting that of the what Lufel reference of someone's taking people's desires. It's referencing that the guy whose name I forget, Katana tongued something, is somehow in contact with said possible mastermind, because was somehow aware that the Subway Slammer was becoming a menace, and he was setting something up. He wasn't fully aware what it was, but
The dude you sent me the screenshot for?
Yeah.
Okay. Where it's like I'm not gonna be able to find someone to replace the Subway Slammer.
Yes.
So unserious.
Yeah, it's a whole thing. Like, there's some actual plot that someone's aware in some form or fashion that these palaces are being created through people being asshats.
What's the base of the next one?
What, the palace?
Yeah.
Food in Japanese feudal Japan, but not like actual feudal Japan, movie set feudal Japan.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
Yeah.
How many more story characters have you got? Just one more?
Yeah, the only other one you unlock is Shun, who's the
dude with the
cowboy.
Yeah.
Wild that he uses a Gatling gun. He's an ice character, and he's also the protector archetype, one of the two we have at base. So gets bulky and gives you defenses.
Nice. Yeah, like I said, so for me, I restarted the game yesterday and just skipped all the dialogue and cutscenes and immediately caught up to where I was left off at, and was playing a little bit last night. I played it just a little bit this morning. Played it like for 5 minutes before you ever walked in the door here.
Yeah.
Just going and grabbing some stuff. So I need to sit down. I want to actually sit down and play it at the computer. I've yet to play it at the computer.
It says on Steam that you touched it, at least you launched it on your PC.
Yeah, that's when I was trying to figure out the account issue.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so I have not played it yet, but I want to. So that is something I need to get on my list here soon, is to play that. I know when we're done here, I'm gonna go in. I'm gonna play some stuff on the computer, but it's gonna be some spooky games tonight.
Yeah, and the only wild thing that I mentioned to you is that my rolls, you could debatably call it lucky, but at the same time, you could call it atrocious. Because out of the 5-star characters, I've literally rolled the same one every single time. So I have 2 5 characters. I got Riddle from the quick rolls, the 50 quick guaranteed. And then from literally everything else, I lost my 50-50 for Joker and got Anne. And then in the regular gacha, I hit the hard pity cap and got Anne again. And then not thinking I was going to get Anne 4 freaking times. I had picked her during the initial events. Like once you complete this, you can put like Anne, Morgana, or Ryuji.
Right.
I picked Anne because she's an AoE fire character. I needed a fire character.
And that's all you get.
I have a 4 awareness Anne on a 5-star character, which for anyone who plays gotcha is just going, why?
That's your luck, brother. That's your luck this time, bro.
It's sort of lucky because now I have an overpowered 5-star, but at the same time, it's just like I don't have a lot of team building capabilities.
Right. Anything else you guys want to chat about before we start going to the weekly wrap up?
I stopped before we hit copyright, so
No, I'm good. I was just waiting on Persona to end.
oh, I know. John set his photo up on his water bottle and just checked out.
I was like, I'll set that up and just kind of lean back a little bit and wait on this to end.
Yeah. Just count the seconds. Count the seconds.
Oh, one thing I do like to note about the end of the First Palace story mode is just, you know how we have like that little vision of him hitting the mother and the child?
Yeah.
It actually, whenever the story finishes, in the whole him having his change of heart, it does actually give a sort of a flash of your character seeing the results of the other timeline that you prevented.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
That was a nice little touch.
Cool. Nice. Shout out. All right, let's start going through the weekly wrap up then, boys. Let's start going through the weekly wrap up. Finish up the show. So the first thing I've got is Zenless Zone Zero version 2.1 update. The impending crash of waves is going to be launching on the 16th of this month.
We're getting Bang Boo Auto Chess.
So shout out. Wait, what?
We're getting Bang Boo Auto Chess.
What?
It's
What does that mean?
Just leave him.
So,
Just leave him.
so the Bang Boos are the little rabbit things, the assistant robot things. Okay.
Oh, you just got auto chess version of it?
Yes, because
Oh,
there's a
cool.
variety of. It's going to be an event thing for some reason because they also got Bang Boo Fall Guys,
Okay, well.
which
Nice, shout out.
was exceptionally well received. People really wanted that game mode back. That they brought it back for a second event.
Oh, nice.
So now we're getting Bang Boo Auto Chest, a beach resort we're gonna run, ghost stories, the biggest meme that's come out of the preview trailer from Friday is one of the new S rank characters. She has like a little jump movement where in the story it looks like she lost a badge or whatnot, and our MCs just picked it up and we're gonna hand it to her. But people have made it look like she's jumping at her own asset physics.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Nice.
The ZZZ fan base has been weird the last month.
And it sounds like ZZ is getting some good stuff coming.
Yes.
So shout out. That's on July 16th.
Yep.
However, on the negative side of things, EA shut down the Anthem servers. I had no idea they were still up. Honestly, when I saw this news, they were shutting down January 12th of next year, and the game's no longer gonna be playable, of course, because I had no idea they were still up. I thought they already pulled the plug.
I thought they pulled it plug because I remember
Yeah.
saying it end of term service.
Yeah.
while
I
back.
only knew they were on because I watched a video recently where somebody went through playing basically dead live service games.
Oh, I think I saw that same video in my recommended, but I didn't watch it. But yeah, no. Shout out to Anthem though, finally coming to a close on January 12th, 2026. Another game that should just get the plug pulled on it is MindsEye. So apparently, MindsEye bosses claim that troubles facing Builder Rocket Boy are a result of internal and external sabotage, and they are also planning to like relaunch the game after like fixing it. I'm like,
What?
Guys, no one cares. No one cares.
You missed your chance.
Because it's like, I think
You're not gonna pull a Cyberpunk.
Yeah, because I think it was you pointing this out about Cyberpunk. Like, people cared about Cyberpunk because there's something like good of substance there. No one cares about this.
Yeah, it's one where I guess they're hoping that if they send it back out, people spend the money just to see.
Yeah.
But it's like, I mean, realistically, if you wanted to try, wait a year, give it a different name.
Yeah.
I was about to say the other thing was depending on how long it takes them to re-release it, maybe one of those things that they're hoping that all the people that missed the initial MindsEye release will go, oh, new game.
Right. I saw someone also point out that they saw at their local Walmart recently MindsEye's already in the bargain bin. So good luck on relaunching it, buddy. No one cares. Oh, next thing we've got is Keith David, who voiced the Arbiter, Captain Anderson, plus just a huge list more of cartoons, animes, games, and more. He will be getting a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Announced on his 7th birthday, too.
Congratulations to Keith David. Absolute legend of a voice. Shout out to him, man. What a legend. Helldivers is going to be coming to Xbox on August 26th, same day as Gears Reloaded. Note that. That's interesting.
Guess what Gears is getting killed by that day?
Helldivers 2. Well, Gears will be on Game Pass. So that's the one thing it's got going for you. But,
Yeah, but Helldivers 2 is Helldivers 2.
yeah, you're right.
I mean,
You're right.
there's plenty of people like that probably just play on Xbox that are gonna be excited to finally be able to play Helldivers.
Right.
It's going to be a whole new platoon of Helldivers.
Yep.
We're going to watch as they die.
Let's see. Techland, which is the devs for Dying Light, has recently canceled 2 upcoming games due to a poor fiscal year so far. So that's also unfortunate to hear on that one. Test screenings for Five Nights at Freddy's 2 have been extremely positive so far, which is great to hear. I know one report that I saw for the second movie is that they were trying to dial up the horror element a little bit more because the first movie, it was there at a couple of points, but that was kind of it. So they're trying to actually make it a little bit more spooky. So that's good. Love to hear it. Let's see. 3 Ubisoft execs have been found guilty of harassment charges. For anyone that forgot, this has been going on for a little while. This has also been kind of playing into the whole idea of the Ubisoft and Tencent partnership studio deal, whatever it was, as well as just Ubisoft trying to position them up potentially for some sort of acquisition or some sort of deal or whatever. There's been a lot going on in the realm of Ubisoft. And like I said, 3 execs have now been found guilty on harassment charges. So what happens there, we'll see. Neil Druckmann will step away from the Last of Us TV show to focus on Naughty Dog's upcoming games, which fair. So he will not be part of season 3.
Well, he did a hell of a service, at least getting seasons 1 and 2 straight.
Yep. Let's see. Next up, Tales of Kinzera, Zhao, the dev of that game, which that was, I believe, their first game, if I remember correctly. That was the dev who made a game kind of like dedicated to his father. So shout out to that. Announced a new horror game called Dead Take, starring Ben Starr and Neil Newborn.
That's gonna be an interesting.
That's a bit of a departure from their first game.
It is.
Yep.
But now we have the wonderful talents of Ben Starr and Neil Newborn working together.
That's going to be amazing.
Right. This is like the couple years of Ben Starr.
Oh, most definitely.
Oh my God, I know. Ben Starr has just exploded on the scene in these past couple years.
You think Neil Newborn is just going to be a Starion again?
Zach, that's why people keep bringing him on.
I mean, they do. But it's also sort of funny. It's just how people noted it with the voice actors that did in the Baldur's Gate 3 characters.
Yeah.
They've just sort of taken them as their own.
Yeah.
And later it's just sort of like, yeah, do your thing.
I think Neil Newborn is something in Date Everything as well.
He is.
And he sounds just like a Starion.
I think he might be a character in the Liza P DLC as well, and he's a Starion there.
Yeah.
It's funny, but I'm also got my fingers crossed now that he doesn't get boxed in as just a Starion.
Right. Or I guess Astarion. I think is how it's pronounced in the game.
It's
or whatever.
just one where it's like it's just him.
Yeah.
It's just him, and it's like
Astarion every time.
he just talks. He just talks, and everybody goes, "Oh, it's a Starion."
Yeah. Everyone just gets excited for it. Let's see. Next up, guys. Nintendo finally confirmed that Donkey Kong Bonanza is, in fact, made by the Odyssey team. However, they have not confirmed who is the lead director of the game. So, shout out to that.
The worst kept secret.
Agreed. Why does it need to be a secret? I don't understand. Like, what do you think it's going to make people upset? It's like, oh, we don't have a new Odyssey game, a new 3D Mario coming out. Like, calm down. Like, what are we doing?
People are giving good response to Bonanza.
Yeah, I know. It's like, I don't know why we got to keep this a secret.
It's one where it's like, it's one where like I've seen videos of people being kind of surprised with being like, "Oh man, Bonanza looks great," and then someone tells them it's like, "Yeah, it's the Odyssey team." They go, "Why didn't they just say that?"
Right? Like, there's no reason to keep this a secret, man. Nintendo's weird, bro.
It's like you say it's the Odyssey team. All that's gonna do is make people more excited for it.
Exactly. It doesn't make any sense, bro. Nintendo got Nintendo with this weird stuff, bro. Let's see. Halo Studios will reveal what they've been working on at this year's Halo World Championship in October. Okay. Okay, buddy.
It's hard to get excited.
Yeah.
Halo Auto Chess.
Very tough. Well, hold on.
Probably better than what they put out so far.
Hey,
Zach.
hey, now that actually sounds kind of fun.
Halo Wars 3.
Auto Chess Edition.
Then the last piece of news I've got, which was by far the most shocking piece of news of this week, EA Sports is bringing back college basketball. What? That is mind blowing. That
I
that's
enjoyed
actually
your
happening.
post in this. One of the initial people being like, "It's not April 1st. Don't play with us like this."
Yeah, no, facts, dude. So apparently the launch date is going to be 2028, and it will be a bi-yearly series, which that's a good thing. That's what the way it needs to be.
The message when you sent this in Discord, you were like, apparently college basketball is coming back, and then you were like, and maybe college baseball too. It's like, oh, you lost me in the first half, but you're bringing me back in the second.
Well, see, that was my first thought. Is man, if college basketball can actually come back, I mean, God, I feel like the floodgates are open, brother. I feel like it's an actual possibility that I think they were called like what MVP baseball. I think is what the college games were called.
Mhm.
They only had like a 5-year run.
The only problem, if they were to try to bring back a baseball game, is
MLB The Show's
they
the
have to
standard.
compete against MLB The Show, which
Yeah.
is the gold standard of sports games.
True.
It is consistent.
Yeah, true. That is true. You know, you put them
it's-
up against that is tough.
Because it's like,
That's why I said take a wild ball. College volleyball.
yeah.
Go Bows, baby. Go Bows.
Because I was gonna say, because like Madden, people are always pissed at Madden.
Yeah.
Doesn't
it's
matter
like
what
college
they do.
football. It's like, okay, well, it's something different.
Yeah, it's
And
back.
it's like-
Here we go.
Basketball, you have 2K, but usually when a new 2K game comes out,
It's-
people get upset because
it's
it's
the
the
same
same
Madden
2K
issue.
game.
Yeah.
And it has the same issues. It's just the only sports game that is just like every year it comes out and people are consistently happy is the show.
Yeah. The show does its thing every year, dude.
I don't know. Are people happy with the hockey games that come out every year?
They're fine with it. You know, the NHL games, they're fine
Yeah,
with it. There's
okay.
not really any negativity around it. No, the only reason why I kind of pitched like, man, is it possible that the college baseball can come back is not only because of the fact that you are bringing back a very poor selling franchise with college basketball, but also like college baseball has like, I feel like has been reaching new heights in terms of like, you know,
It's
media.
exploded in the past couple of years.
Yeah, no, like it has reached some extreme heights. In
I
the
think
media.
baseball in general has just found a new hype and whatnot. Just
Yeah.
not even just over here in the West, but just across the world.
Right. You know, and you know, I'm not saying that like as you know. Let's make something clear here. It's like yes, this is a video game podcast, but I am a sports guy. All right, I may not be a baseball guy, but I follow sports. It's like when we say like, oh, baseball has been kind of really popping these past couple years. Same with college baseball. Like I'm just reading the room, brother. Like you know, when you can read the room, and it's like the only time anyone ever gives a shit about let's say college basketball. No one gives a shit until March Madness.
Yep.
Let's say college baseball. No one gives a shit to the World Series, and even then they don't give a shit. All right. You know, same thing with baseball. No one ever gives a shit to the World Series and the playoffs for the most part. I know it could be a little bit of a hot take, but I'm just saying it from the media that I follow and the media that I see and what everyone talks about is that you'll see on ESPN them talking about the most random ass shit of football related. Meanwhile, baseball's actively going on. And it's like, what are we doing? But no, like college baseball has been reaching like some new heights. So I think a college baseball game could actually be possible. I really do. I think a college baseball game could really be possible, which that would be wild. But oh, shut to college basketball though. College football does come out next week. I'll probably get it. I haven't pre-ordered it. I told Tyler, like I may Thursday when it comes out, I might just go swing and just pick it up. Maybe we'll see.
I mean, you shouldn't have any issue picking it up.
Yeah. I do apparently I'm going to have like 10 hours of free play because of EA Play on like Game Pass. I'll probably at least do that just to kind of start up a dynasty and kind of mess around. But Either way, you guys got any other news you want to shout out?
Nope.
Not that I can think of.
All right, all that's left is Gamestetic Game of the Week. John, what do we got?
I got two potential. I don't know if I've talked about them before.
Okay.
So just let me know if I've mentioned one of these, and I'll move on to the other.
It's not fully up to date, but let me look. Where's it at? Game of the Week history. Here we go.
I don't remember if I've talked about Deep Rock Galactic.
Ooh, I feel like you have.
I feel like I had.
Not as game of the week.
Yeah. Okay. So no, not as Game of the Week.
I know I've talked about it. I couldn't remember if I talked about it as Game of the Week.
Not on this list because I'm not that far back. I'm only at 212 episode on the list. So no, you have not.
Okay. So Gamestetic Game of the Week this week will be Deep Rock Galactic. Deep Rock Galactic is, the premise of it is you work for a mining organization that sends you on to various different planets to gather resources. It's a mission-based game that has like upgrade elements to it. I think there's 4 different classes, and within each of those classes, they have 4 or 5 different like primary and secondary weapon upgrades that you can have. But the premise of it is you start up a mission or a series of missions, and you get dropped onto a planet, and it's like the goal is to mine the resources to finish the mission, but along like within the area are all these additional like special resources that you use for like meta progression and upgrades and stuff. And every planet that you go to, you'll periodically be attacked by hordes of enemies, which in this case are various different bugs. And they have a ton of different like events that can spawn on planets, ranging from like there may be like a little dispenser that spawns in that you have to go find batteries that beep, and you go collect the batteries and put in there, and it just spits out resources, and then you get something from it, like an emote or like a weapon skin or something like that. It's a fantastic game as well because everything within the bounds of the level pretty much are destructible terrain. So like there's certain classes, like there's a driller class. Well, each class has their own like special thing. So like driller has drilling gauntlets that if you want to, you can follow the cave path, or if you don't want to, you can just drill your way through the floor, go your own path, figure out where you want to go. Like I said, each one has its own different thing. The gunner has like zip lines, so you can make a zip line system throughout the map. Scout has like a little grapple hook, so you can speed through the area. But it is a very enjoyable game. I've played it. I've probably put like 150 hours into it between Steam and Xbox, playing on different accounts and stuff like that. It's just super enjoyable. It's a fantastic co-op game. Because the only difference between co-op and single player is in single player, you have a little robot drone that flies around with you that you can tell to go mine the resources for you. And if you're playing co-op, you don't get the drone. It's like you just have to go and do it yourself or with your teammates. And I find it way more enjoyable in co-op to play the game. But yeah, highly recommend it. It has an endless amount of fun with it because every time you spawn into a level, it's procedurally generated. So while you'll be doing the same things over and over again, each run is slightly different. But yeah, highly recommend.
Question for you, John. Would you consider that game sort of part of the beginnings of what's now sort of become the retrieval games, I almost want to call them? Like, where pretty much you go into a random generalized location, grab stuff, extract it, and then leave the level.
Kind of. This game's been out for a long time.
Because like I feel like it was sort of one of those ones that sort of started that gameplay loop, but they've progressed to things like company. What's it called? I can't remember now. All of a sudden,
What are you thinking of?
the it has company in it, and it's people in the orange suits. You're going on
Lethal
different.
Company?
Yeah, those types of games.
It could be. I don't know how much. I don't know how much inspiration was taken from Deep Rock, but I mean, it very well could have been that because that's the core of this game. It's you get dropped in, go collect stuff, and come back.
That's sort of just my thought because I mean they are very two distinct games, but the like base gameplay loop is similar.
Yeah,
So.
it's similar gameplay loop. Yeah, if you like that style of game, then you'll definitely. I mean, you should definitely enjoy Deep Rock because yeah, at its core, it is a mission-based go collect things and make your way back type game, but it's done phenomenally.
Oh, it's fantastically done well because that game's going on what 6 years? Has it been out that long?
I think so because it was in early access for several years, and then it went into 1.0. I think 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Nice.
And
So-
with that, that's episode 53 of Gamestead Game of the Week.
223.
No, Gamestead Game of the Week, episode 53.
Oh wow, have you been keeping track of that?
No, I just checked your playlist. Plus, you got a video that's not Game of the Week in there.
What do I have in there?
Donkey Kong Bonanza Direct.
Oh, did I accidentally put that in there?
Yep.
Oh, my bad. My bad.
So that would make this one 53.
Oh, look at that. Keep a track. Cool.
We've done too many of these. We've gone too far.
Oh, what is it? Just in now?
Yes.
Wow.
No, we ended after Zach's next time.
I started it, so I end it.
All right, calm down. Calm down. All right, let's hit the music. Let's get out of here.
Like, comment, subscribe, rate, whatever your platform allows. It does help. What's your take on the whole Xbox thing? Can they be trusted? Can they not? Will Microsoft ever lose their throne?
Yeah, do everything he said and more. And if you like what you saw with us, we do these live streams every Saturday about 6-ish p.m. Central Time, so come check us out then.
And make sure to also check out the Patreon if you want to support us further, as well as Rogue Energy and Agent Inc. with the referral links down below. If I'm going to go to Sparky3, get 10% off over at Rogue Energy. Join the Discord, be a friend, tell a friend. I'll be back next week, probably with college football and whatever else. I don't know. We'll see. And do everything they said and more. Until next time, guys, have a good one. Bye.